When two people are locked in silence during a no contact phase, it's not just about who sends the first message, it's about a deeper test of strength, patience, and emotional maturity. Silence isn't empty, it's loaded with meaning, and often it says more than words ever could. When she is also doing no contact with you, your natural instinct may be to panic, to wonder if you've lost her forever, to feel that itch in your fingers, to break the silence and reach out. But that moment is exactly where your true strength is measured. The power of silence rests in showing her that you don't crumble under the pressure, you don't need validation from her every move, and you don't see her withdrawal as the end of your own sense of worth. And you have to understand that her silence isn't always rejection. Sometimes it's her way of testing where you truly stand. If you're going to chase when she pulls away, if your emotions can withstand uncertainty, or if your discipline collapses under loneliness. Many men fold at this stage. They break no contact, they flood her phone with emotional messages, or they try to guilt her into responding. And in that moment, they lose their value because they reveal that they cannot handle the very silence that was designed to strengthen them. The one who can remain calm in silence demonstrates not just patience, but control, and that control creates respect. It's almost like a mental chess game. She may be waiting, watching, expecting you to cave in first. She might even be certain that you will eventually break. That certainty gives her the upper hand until you flip the script by showing no signs of desperation. When your silence matches hers, you communicate that you don't play by her expectations. You show her that your emotional stability doesn't depend on her immediate attention. This doesn't mean you ignore her forever. It means you wait for her to be the one to step forward, because the one who values the connection more will eventually close the gap. The key here is patience, but not just sitting and waiting passively. Patience combined with growth is where the real magic happens. You're not just enduring silence, you're using it as fuel to focus on yourself. You're showing her that your life continues to move forward, that your silence isn't about sulking in misery, but about strength, direction, and calm confidence. When she feels that her absence didn't derail you, it challenges her perception of you. Suddenly, she realizes that she's not in control of the situation, you are. Think of silence as a mirror, it reflects your inner state. If you're desperate, she'll feel it when you break no contact. If you're calm, focused, and steady, she'll sense that too, even without words. That reflection can pull her back because attraction is deeply tied to strength. And nothing screams strength louder than being able to handle the storm of silence without flinching. So when she's also doing no contact, don't see it as a loss, see it as a stage where the man who can handle stillness, uncertainty, and silence with grace proves his true value. The power lies in not breaking first. When she is also doing no contact, one of the worst mistakes you can make is to assume that her silence is a clear sign that she is completely moved on. Human emotions are rarely that simple. Silence often masks confusion, fear, or even desire that she is trying to suppress. What many men fail to realize is that women too experience the same flood of emotions during no contact. She may be waiting to see if you truly respect her boundaries, if you're capable of holding yourself with dignity, or if you will fall into the trap of chasing her when the quiet becomes unbearable. Understanding this psychological tug of war is crucial because it helps you respond from a place of clarity rather than fear. No contact is not a punishment, it's a reset. It creates a space where both people can reevaluate what they truly want. For her, pulling away might be her way of regaining balance, testing the strength of the bond, or simply protecting her emotions from being too vulnerable. For you, it's a chance to show that you are grounded enough not to react impulsively. This is why breaking silence too soon almost always backfires. It signals to her that you cannot handle space, that you value immediate reassurance over trust in the process, and that your emotions override your discipline. That reaction reinforces any doubts she may already have about your stability. Instead, recognize that her no contact doesn't automatically mean disinterest. Often, it's a test of energy. Women are highly intuitive about emotional balance. If she feels like she was giving more to the relationship, she may now be stepping back to see if you will respect her absence without begging. The way you handled this period tells her everything she needs to know. If you act with dignity, patience, and self control, you shift her perception. Suddenly, instead of remembering you as the man who might have clung too tightly, she sees you as someone capable of restraint, composure, and confidence. But silence is not just about her, it's also about you. This period is an opportunity to reflect on why no contact even began. Was there too much pressure? Were you seeking validation from her too often? Did you forget to nurture your own individuality outside of the relationship? Taking the time to answer these questions helps you realign your energy. The more you focus on becoming centered and strong, the less you feel the urge to interpret her silence as rejection. In fact, the more value you add to yourself during this time, the more powerful your presence becomes when contact does eventually resume. Another important layer is this: her no contact can actually reveal whether she truly values the connection. A woman who has real feelings won't be able to stay in silence forever. If she truly cares, the stillness will eventually push her to break it, because genuine connection can't be buried for too long. But this can only happen if you resist the temptation to rush. By not moving first, you give her space to reveal her true intentions. So instead of fearing her silence, learn to interpret it with wisdom. It isn't always rejection, it's often reflection. It's her way of seeing if the man she's dealing with has the strength to hold his ground without chasing. Her silence is not the end, it's an invitation for you to prove your strength. When she is also doing no contact, one of the greatest challenges you will face is the constant urge to break the silence first. That urge is not just about her, it's about your own discomfort with uncertainty. The human mind craves closure, and when someone you care about is not reaching out, your emotions begin to spiral. You might find yourself checking your phone obsessively, replaying old conversations in your head, or convincing yourself that one small message won't hurt. But in reality, every time you give in to that impulse, you undermine the very strength that no contact is designed to build. This is why self-control is the cornerstone of the process. It's not about punishing her or playing games. It's about proving to yourself and to her that you are capable of mastering your emotions. The truth is, women are extremely perceptive when it comes to emotional discipline. If you break no contact because you can't handle the quiet, she will see it as a sign of weakness. It tells her that you are still dependent on her validation to feel secure, and that makes you less attractive in her eyes. A man who is emotionally strong doesn't need to force connection. He allows it to flow naturally. By holding the line and resisting the urge to chase, you are showing her a side of yourself that commands respect. It demonstrates patience, maturity, and confidence, qualities that every woman instinctively values in a man. But self-control during no contact isn't just about what you don't do, it's also about what you actively choose to do. The space created by silence gives you the perfect opportunity to refocus your energy on yourself. Instead of obsessing over what she may or may not be thinking, redirect that energy into your goals, your health, your friendships, and your passions. Every hour you spend becoming stronger, healthier, more fulfilled is an hour where your attraction grows naturally without you even speaking a word to her. This not only makes you feel better about yourself, but also shifts the dynamic if and when she does reach out again. Instead of her seeing a man who waited around in misery, she sees someone who used the silence to level up. Another important part of mastering self control is understanding timing. If she is also doing no contact, the silence can stretch for weeks, even months. During that time, your emotions will rise and fall, and you may convince yourself that reaching out is the only way to save the connection, but timing is everything. The longer you hold out, the more the silence works in your favor. It builds curiosity in her mind and it forces her to wonder whether you are really moving on. This subtle shift of uncertainty is powerful because it places the weight of action on her. And here's the reality: if she truly cares, she will eventually break the silence. But she can only do that if you stay strong enough to let the process unfold naturally. Breaking the silence out of impatience not only robs her of the chance to reveal her feelings, but also shows her that you are still controlled by your emotions rather than mastering them. Your self control in these moments isn't just about her, it's about becoming the man who doesn't need to cling or chase. It's about proving to yourself that you can withstand the silence without losing your center. And that strength alone makes you more attractive than any text ever could. In the end, your discipline becomes your power, and the one thing she cannot ignore is a man who is strong enough to hold his ground. When she is also doing no contact, one of the worst mistakes you can make is sitting around and putting your entire life on hold while waiting for her to return. Too many men fall into this trap, thinking that if they just stay still, stay available, or keep all their attention on her absence, it will somehow prove their love or loyalty. But in reality, that approach not only makes you weaker, but also kills the very attraction that may have existed in the first place. Life is not meant to be paused for anyone, and if you make her the center of your existence, even in silence, she will sense that desperation without you saying a single word. Women can feel when a man is waiting around for her, and it does not make her value him more. In fact, it does the opposite. It lowers her respect because it shows that he doesn't have a life outside of her. Attraction is not built on neediness, it's built on independence, mystery, and strength. By focusing too much on what she is doing or whether she will reach out, you are stripping yourself of those qualities. You are essentially living in her shadow, and that makes it easier for her to move on because she sees that you're not truly living for yourself anymore. The most powerful thing you can do when both of you are in no contact is to show through your actions, not your words, that your life is still full, exciting, and meaningful. Keep pursuing your passions, improving yourself, and investing in friendships and opportunities. When you live as though you are not dependent on her presence, you become more magnetic. That's because you remind her of the man she was drawn to in the first place, the man who had a life, who had purpose, who wasn't afraid to stand on his own 2 feet. Think of it this way: no contact is not just about creating space between you and her, it's also about creating growth within yourself. Every day you spend working on your health, advancing your career, or deepening your hobbies, you are becoming more of the man you were meant to be. That kind of progress is undeniable, and if she comes back into your life, she will notice the difference. If she doesn't, then you've still elevated your life to a higher level, which only attracts better opportunities and better people. Either way, you win. Another important point is that sitting still and waiting communicates fear. It says, I don't know who I am without you. But when you continue moving forward, she sees a man who can love her but does not depend on her for his sense of identity. That balance is what keeps attraction alive. A woman doesn't want to feel like she is your entire world. She wants to feel like she is part of a man's exciting, ever-growing world. So instead of letting the silence consume you, let it fuel you. Use that quiet time to push yourself harder, to evolve, and to remind yourself that your life has value with or without her presence. Because when you don't wait, when you continue to live fully, you send the clearest message possible that your happiness, your strength, and your identity are not tied to whether or not she reaches out. And in the end, that kind of self respect always speaks louder than words. When she is also doing no contact, it's easy to feel an urge to break the silence just to check in or to see if she's still thinking about you. But that's where many men make a costly mistake. They reach out first, and in doing so, they completely undermine the purpose of no contact. The power of no contact lies in the discipline to allow her to feel the weight of your absence and give her the space to miss you on her own. If you crack under pressure and reach out before she does, you've not only relieved her of that tension, but you've also sent her the message that you can't handle being without her. That erodes both your masculine strength and her attraction. You have to remember that women often test a man's patience, composure, and emotional control without saying a single word. Silence itself becomes the test. If she notices that you're the one who always caves, always comes back first, she knows she has the upper hand. She knows that no matter what happens, she doesn't have to risk vulnerability because you'll eventually break the silence. That dynamic flips the balance of power, making her the one who feels secure and you the one who feels uncertain. And once a woman senses that imbalance, she loses respect, and without respect, attraction dies quickly. Instead, you need to embrace the silence as part of the process. The very fact that she hasn't reached out should tell you something. She is either unsure, conflicted, or waiting to see if you are strong enough to handle the distance. Your ability to stay composed during this time is what ultimately proves your value. By not chasing, you send the signal that you are not desperate, that you are not dependent, and that your self-worth does not hinge on whether or not she contacts you. That is powerful because it's rare. And women deeply respect men who can hold that frame. During no contact, her mind will naturally start to wander. She'll wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not reaching out like you might have in the past. That uncertainty creates curiosity, and curiosity is the spark that reignites attraction. If you break no contact first, you kill that spark instantly. But if you let her come to you, the dynamic shifts. Now she is the one investing energy, she is the one feeling the pull, and she is the one who must risk a little vulnerability to reestablish communication. That's how respect and attraction grow. It's important to realize that discipline and no contact is not about playing games. It's about protecting your dignity and allowing space for her feelings to surface naturally. If she values you, if she misses you, and if she truly wants to be in your life, she will reach out. But she can only do that if you leave the silence unbroken. Your role is not to chase, not to rescue, and not to weaken under pressure. Your role is to stay calm, focused on your life, and grounded in the knowledge that your worth doesn't depend on her actions. So the next time you feel tempted to send that text or make that call, stop and remind yourself of this truth. Breaking no contact first only shows weakness, while holding strong shows strength. And strength is always what draws her back in. When both of you are doing no contact, the final and most important thing to understand is that your focus must shift entirely back to yourself. Too many men fall into the trap of waiting by the phone, checking social media, or analyzing every little sign to see if she might break the silence. That mindset not only wastes your energy, but it also keeps you stuck in a position of emotional dependence. The truth is, if you sit around waiting for her, you're still giving her control over your life, and that defeats the whole purpose of no contact. The real point is to recenter your energy on your own growth, happiness, and future, regardless of what she does. This is where self-improvement becomes your greatest ally. The time you would otherwise spend overthinking should be invested in becoming a better man, Hit the gym, build your career, learn new skills, connect with friends, and pursue goals you may have put aside during the relationship. This is not about trying to impress her or make her jealous. It's about proving to yourself that your life has meaning, direction, and fulfillment with or without her in it. That kind of inner strength and purpose is magnetic. Women are naturally drawn to men who live with drive, who don't crumble under uncertainty, and who continue to move forward no matter the circumstances. The silence of no contact is not just her test, it's also your opportunity. It's your chance to step into a higher version of yourself, to rebuild confidence, and to remind yourself of the man you were before you became emotionally tangled in the relationship. Many men forget that attraction is not built on neediness, it's built on strength, self assurance, and independence. When she eventually looks your way again, what will matter most is not what you said during the silence, but who you became while she wasn't around. Another important aspect is emotional control. If she sees that you've handled the distance with calmness, discipline, and focus, it will speak volumes. Even if she doesn't return, you still win because you've elevated your life and strengthened your character. If she does return, she'll be coming back to a man who is even more grounded, more purposeful, and more attractive than before. Either way, you gain. That's the real beauty of embracing no contact. It ensures that no matter the outcome, you're in a better place than you were when it started. It's also worth realizing that not every woman will return, and that's okay. Some connections end for good, and holding on to them prevents you from opening the door to someone new who may truly value and love you for who you are. That's why using this time wisely is critical. It prepares you not only for the possibility of her coming back, but also for the possibility of building something even greater with someone else. At the end of the day, when she is also doing no contact, the best thing you can do is stop waiting, stop watching, and stop worrying. Redirect that energy into yourself, into your life, and into the man you're becoming. That way, whether she comes back or not, you stand tall, stronger than before, and ready for whatever is ahead